What's going on? Oh. La 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 la. Yeah. What's going on? Oh.
More knowledge, more power. I set donations by the hour. More books turn children to scholars. These seeds turn for flowers endowed with unlimited power in this God of strife. The people seek solutions for life, but spirit knows it to be trite for man. But this light within keeps me right in sin. Brother, oh, what's going on inside your dog? You can't kill those growing the stones throw from home. We need to uplift our own. Place them back on thrones. Giving you the real keys that you truly succeed. Unlock the doors of fulfilling the needs. I'm in this uses so deep. How to administer thought. Be proud of more than what they bought. Invest in each other. Be better lovers. Be right with God, that's right within. Not the popular contradiction. No more shucking and jiving. No more trying to survive. No more excuses. Spill brothers' juices. Dash it out over tea and herbs, and that's words.
What's going on? People dying every day, things will never be the same, but we gotta make a way. What's going on? Yo, we gotta stop the hate, move the world a better space. People dying every day, what's going on? I'm just saying how I feel, no one else gon' keep it real like the way I want. What's going on? People dying every day, things will never be the same, but we gotta make a way. What's going on? Oh. What's going on? Oh.
Peace and love, everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening or today, this morning, wherever it is that you're at. We're going to jump into this little thing, right? And if you're interested in getting a copy of this information, by all means, look in the description box because it's down there, all right? So, how to correct or change a name. Now, this information is not legal advice. Correcting and changing your name is not easy, but it should not be complicated or any more expensive than it already is. In this video tutorial, I provide educational and informational content explaining the process of how I use a court order assisting process to correct and or change my name. Be advised that this information is provided for individuals that are and or have repatriated, dedicated themselves to a new purpose in life, whether through their own determination or the guidance of something greater than themselves. This information is not intended for any fraudulent or evasive purposes. Whatever the reason, the viewer's discretion is strongly advised. Number one, key to correcting a status or a name utilizing the court system, read the information for yourself. Trust your inner guide or guides. The last thing anyone needs is a dumb or a smart dumb filing. All right. Number two, compare the information in the forms side by side before filling out the forms. Just like taking any test, sometimes it is best to look at everything first before filling out each form. Like any exam, look through the exam, answering the questions you are familiar and confident with before placing wet blue, purple, or black ink in the answer box. This is not about taking a test. Number three, but life is filled with tests that each must learn from until having passed. No one is permitted entrance to the next chamber without having passed this portion. And for reader's sake, this test is open book. Surprise! Apply only when you, the viewer, are competent and ready. This is your process, no one else. Double check your answers, addresses, agents, etc. before certified mailing or hand delivering the forms. Check out your state's court registry and or website for any self-help forms, local rules, inconsistencies with federal regulations yourself. Otherwise, seek the assistance and or counsel and or service of an honorable and competent quote-unquote lawyer, certified paralegal, civic legal assistant, or become what you need and save yourself the cost. In Florida, Google search Florida petition for adult name change and or correction, and you see the links. Don't forget to comment, like, share, or subscribe. And in the upcoming videos, we're going to be discussing constructing affidavit, nationality, taxes, and credit monitoring, and the discharging debt system, aka bankruptcy. All right. Now, for those of you who are interested in getting a little bit of this information right now, let's get a little small study session going real quick. Right. Open this up. Open this up. That way you can get as much as you can out of this. Now, for the sake of this whole demonstration, I'm going to reverse engineer this process for you, in the sense that you're going to need to get some form of identification. And so if you are repatriating, or if you choose to be a citizen of the United States, then you may want to get yourself a copy, download a copy of the DS Form 11 application. This is the U.S. passport application. Now, why would I show you this form first? And for legal purposes, I do not have the authorized permission or written consent. This information, these forms are provided as just for the sake of educational purposes. For any questions that you may have regarding any of the forms that I'm going to show in this presentation, please contact the numbers provided on the forms. The sites are listed up here in the title boxes for your own investigation and research as well. Okay, so once again, in the description bar, don't forget to click on the links yourself, and call these people up. Like, they have toll-free numbers because they're customer service. All right, like this, they're customer service representatives, and it even says it. Customer service representatives are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And they have customer service representatives for each organization that I'm going to show you. So remember, if there's a customer service representative, then there's quality assurance. That means that you can always file a complaint if you don't believe that you've received the best service that you should be. All right? So, yeah, you're supposed to get that too. Okay? So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to review these forms. All right? Review some of these laws that are here, requirements for children. If you're a child, if you're a minor or a minority, maybe you might want to review some of these rules and public laws, all right? Because these are federal regulations, all right? Codes, federal regulations. Codes and federal regulations, 5128, 22, Title 22 CFR, all right? Applicants who have had a previous U.S. passport, book, and or passport card, hey, read the forms, all right? Now, proof of citizenship. Failure to provide information requested in this form, including your social security number, may result in significant processing delays and or the denial of your application. Because if you fail to provide the social security number, they think that you're trying to hide something, or you're trying to escape and evade some form of justice. So don't do that, all right? Now, some people have asked me about this specific code before in the past. Let me just go ahead and just read this out. Warning, false statements made knowingly and willfully in passport applications, including affidavits or other documents submitted to support this application, are punishable by fine and or imprisonment under U.S. law, including the provisions of Title 18, United States Code of Law, Section 1001. That's for fraudulent conveyance of through language. I'm not going to go over these other two. I'm going to let these other three, I'm going to let you, these other four, I'm going to let you get your homework. All right, proof of citizenship. These things are important. I'm going over this for because it's going to help you understand why you're going to be filing the rest of these forms, okay? Because you need some form of identification. If it wasn't this form, you'd probably be trying to get a state identification card, all right? And which would make you a member to your state's Department of Motor Vehicles, which is not the state of Florida, all right? Like they're just, or the state in which you reside. They're just a private organization doing business and providing a service to the government of the state in which you're residing in. Okay, so here it is that you want to have some form of identification that is provided to you by the nation in which you reside in, all right? Because statehood is good if you're a part of, if your statehood is a nation already, but you know, the states within the United States of America, as you see here, illustrated by in all capital letters, United States, U.S., here and here, in capitalization. So it is for capital purposes. So that means it's for business. All right, applicants born outside the United States. That's, you know, saying, you know, foreign corporations. That's basically a foreign corporation. All right, submit a previous U.S. passport, certificate of naturalization. So, like, if you're a citizen of the United States, right, you should have a certificate of naturalization. You should have a certificate of citizenship. You might have a consular report of birth abroad or evidence described below. All right, just saying. You must establish your citizenship to the satisfaction of the acceptance agent in passport services. We may ask you to provide additional evidence to establish your claim to U.S. citizenship. Proof of identity. You may submit items such as the following containing your signature and a photograph that is a good likeness of you. That's all the requirements for a proof of identity. That's federal. Items such as the following containing your signature and a photograph that is a good likeness of you. Look at that. You must establish your identity to the satisfaction of the acceptance of the agent. If you cannot provide documentary evidence of identity, as stated above, you must appear with an identifying witness who is a U.S. citizen, non-citizen U.S. national, non-citizen U.S. national. Look at that, non-citizen U.S. national, or permanent resident alien that has known you for at least 2 years. Your witness must prove his or her identity and complete and sign an affidavit of identifying witness, Form DS-71, before the acceptance agent. You must also submit some identification of your own. So for individuals who may be viewing this, if you are declaring your nationality, or doing any type of declaration or proclamation to your nationality, those same individuals may just want to help you fill out the form DS-71. That information is not included in this presentation because this presentation is for you to do some research for yourself, all right? Let's go ahead and move on. Color photograph. It's a passport size document. Please, yes. Those of you who don't believe in the fiat system, well, for a workman to get paid, you got to provide it in the required form of payment. So they're asking you for some fiat. All right, and the fiat is about $90. All right, regarding mailing, federal tax law, section 6039, the Internal Revenue Code 26 USC 6039 Echo 22 USC 22714A Foxtrot Alpha Foxtrot require you to provide your Social Security number if you have one, and you apply for or renew a U.S. passport. So you gotta put the documentation there, man, or woman. All right. If you have never been issued a Social Security number, you must enter zeros in box number 5 of this form. If you are residing abroad, you must also provide the name of the foreign country in which you are residing. The U.S. Department of State must provide your Social Security number and foreign residence information to the U.S. Department of the Treasury. If you fail to provide the information, your application may be denied and you are subject to a $500 penalty enforced by the IRS. So this document is worth $500. All questions on this matter should be referred to the nearest IRS office. Look at that. So you got to provide your Social Security number for tax purposes. Okay. And if you want to know why, go ahead and review this. Review these codes, and it'll explain to you why. Because your image and likeness attached to a 9-digit identifying number, is all that's required for you to do business in this country. Fee remittance, use of Social Security number. Your Social Security number will be provided to the U.S. Department of Treasury, used in connection with debt collection and checked against lists of persons ineligible or potentially ineligible to receive a U.S. passport, among other authorized uses. That's big right there. In connection with debt collection. All right. I think we're ready to get started. All right. Let's go to the IRS website. All right. If you're looking for the link, look in the description box below. This form is provided for informational purposes only. Copy A appears in red, similar to the official IRS forms. Do not file copy A downloaded from this website with the SSA. The official printed version of the IRS form is scannable, but the online version of it printed from this website is not. A penalty may be imposed for filing forms that can't be scanned. See the penalties section in the current general information. To order official IRS forms, call them, and we'll mail you the scannable forms and other products. You may file the Form W-2 and W-3 electronically on the SSA's website at Employer Instructions and Information. Why is the IRS and the Social Security Administration working together? Well, don't worry, we'll get to that. Just for informational purposes only, replication of this information. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this form here, see what this is? It's W-2 correction for those individuals who have jobs, 9-to-5s, and with a 9-to-5 employer. For individuals, this is how you correct your employer identification information. Employer's name, address, and zip code. Your employer's federal identification number, which they must provide you. The tax year in which the form was corrected, and the employee's correct Social Security number. All right? Corrected Social Security number and or name. Check this box and complete boxes F, Foxtrot, and or G, Golf, if incorrect on form previously filed. So if you just got your name changed, file this W-2C, C for correction, Charlie, all right? And give the corrected Social Security number and or name. So on the IRS information, if an individual were to correct or change your name, this would be the form you use to correct that information. Update the employer information, the employee information, adjust your tax withholding if you need to. You know what I'm saying? And move on with your life. Okay, locality correction information previously reported. Form W-2C, corrected wage and tax statement. So if you were never supposed to be taxed, here you go. Get your taxes back. Correct your taxes before you file for the upcoming year. All right? Don't be afraid to file, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, you filing late is better than you not filing at all. And in case you're curious, notice to employee, this is a corrected Form W-2 wage and tax statement, or Form W-2A, the tax year shown in box C. If you have filed an income tax return for the year shown, you may have to file an amended return. Compare amounts on this form with those reported on your income tax return. If the corrected amounts change your U.S. income tax, file Form 1040X. If there is a correction in box 5, Medicare wages, if you have not filed a return for the year shown in box C, attach copy B of the original Form W-2 you received from your employer and copy B of this Form W-2C. More information, contact your nearest Internal Revenue Service, employees in American Samoa, Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, or the U.S. Virgin Islands should contact their local tax authority for more information. Information's out here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing for you to be afraid of. Just going all the way to the end of this document. And I just want everybody to pay attention that all they asked for was the name and the social security number. They didn't even ask you for an identification card for the IRS. Why is that? Now let me go all the way down here. I just want to show you something. Electronic passport statement. The U.S. Department of State now issues an electronic passport book which contains an embedded electronic chip. The electronic passport book continues to be proof of the bearer's U.S. citizenship and or nationality and identity, and looks and functions in the same way as a passport without a chip. The addition of an electronic chip in the back enables the U.S. passport book to carry a duplicate electronic copy of all information from the data page. The electronic passport book is usable at all ports of entry, including those that do not have electronic chip readers. Use of the electronic format provides the traveler to the additional security protections inherent in chip technology. Provides the traveler the additional security protections inherent in chip technology. Moreover, when used at ports of entry equipped with electronic chips, the electronic passport book provides the faster clearance through some of the port of entry processes. The electronic passport book does not require special handling or treatment, but like previous versions, should be protected from extreme heat, bending, and from immersion in water. An electronic chip must be read using specially formatted readers, which protects the data on the chip from unauthorized reading. The cover of the electronic passport book is printed with a special symbol representing the embedded chip. The symbol will appear in the port of entries where the electronic passport book can be read. Isn't this an interesting little image, little icon? If any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed or applied by the applicant, the portion which applied should be lined out in a supplementary way. Just keep reading this information. Privacy Act, okay, 22 U.S.C. 2211A. At other sequences, 8 U.S.C. 1104, 26 U.S.C. So on purpose, we are requesting this information in order to determine your eligibility to be issued a U.S. passport. Your social security number is used to verify your identity. Okay, so your social security number is used to verify your identity. Social security number is used to verify your identity. Social security number is used to verify your identity within the United States. Within the United States. Within the United States. Take that for whatever you want to believe it to be. All right. Moving on. If you review this application, you're going to see name, uppercase, lowercase, which is the proper way of spelling it. Last name is first. First name is last, and then middle name. Okay. Not initial, middle name. So fit it all in there. Date of birth, your sex. Not whether or not you want sex or which sex you want to be, but the sex you are. All right. What's your gender? Place of birth. Your social security number. Okay. Social security number is used to verify your identity. All right. Email number, primary contact phone number, mailing address, city, state, zip code. Which is your tax bracket. Country, if outside the United States. List all other names you have used, meaning And look at this, legal name change. Attach additional pages if needed. Stop, continue to page 2. Do not sign application until requested to do so by authorized agent. Their agent acts as a witness. That's why you can't just fill out this form and sign it and just mail it in. You have to do it in the presence of the official. The postmaster is a public official. Postmaster is a public official. Postmaster is a public official. And they're also a witness to you mailing the document. Identifying documents, applicant or mother, father, parent, or third party's third signature line. If identifying a minor, applicant's legal signature, age 16 and older. Legal signature, age 16 and older. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States and have not, since acquiring U.S. citizenship or nationality, performed any acts of the listed under acts of conditions on page 4 of the instructions of this application. That's beautiful. Statements made on this application are true and correct. I have not knowingly and willfully made false statements or included false documents in support of this application. The photograph attached to this application is a genuine, correct photograph of me, and I have read and understood the warning on page 1 of the instructions to the application form. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me go ahead and get into showing you one thing. In regards to DS Form 11, you saw the Social Security number, but you did not see a request or a space listed for your race. Look, there's even a place for you to just name your occupation, your employer, or your school. So, like, if you're a student of, like, say, you know, a certain, you know, publications or website, your school, if applicable, can go there, you know, because that site acts as an online institution, educational institution. So you can put that in there. If you're a student or an adept or a reverend or a minister in training, you know, you can put your spiritual school, your theological institution in this place here, okay? Mailing address, you just need a mailing address, okay? Just need a mailing address, okay? Just need a mailing address. Travel plans if you have any. Permanent address if you got one. Emergency contact if you have one. Please do not write below this line for issuing office only. Name as it appears on citizenship evidence. For birth, passport, so on and so forth. There you go. Now, race was not on that form, but just in case anybody is curious about, you know, correcting their race and ethnicity, link in the description bar. Okay? Link in the description bar. This is the standard form 181. I know other people have seen this form, and I'm just going to touch on this very briefly. Privacy Act statement. Okay. Ethnicity and race information is requested under the authority of 42 U.S.C. Section 2000 Echo Tac 16, and in compliance with the Office of Management and Budget's 1997 revisions to the standards for the classification of federal data. Office of Management and Budget's 1997 revisions to the standards for the classification of federal data on race and ethnicity. Providing this information is voluntary and has no impact on your employment status. But in the instance of missing information, your employing agency will attempt to identify your race and ethnicity by visual observation. So they're going under a presumption, under colorable forms of identification. That's basically hearsay. Your employing agency will identify your race and ethnicity by visual observation. So you got to tell them exactly what you are or who you are, all right? And we're going to correct exactly who is who and what's what. This information is used as necessary to plan for equal employment opportunity throughout the federal government. It is also used by the U.S. Office of Personnel Management or employing agency maintaining the records to locate individuals for personal research or survey response and in the production of summary descriptive statistics and analytical studies in support of the function for which the records are collected and maintained or for related workforce studies. Social Security number is requested under the authority of Executive Order 9397, which requires Social Security number to be used for the purpose of uniform, orderly administration of personnel records. Providing this information is voluntary, and failure to do so will have no effect on your employment status. If Social Security number is not provided, however, the other agency sources may be used to obtain it. What other agency sources? So they're going to take a picture, or they're going to use your image, and they're going to run it through a visual database. And when they come across a visual database of the image that looks like yours, they're going to just go ahead and check that box off for you. But before you think that what they're doing is wrong, let me just show you a little something. Actually, two somethings I want to show you. Let me show you this little something called SS5 form. And this form here is for the application of a Social Security card. Original Social Security card, replacement Social Security card, changing information on your Social Security record. Change the information on your Social Security record number of record, i.e. name or citizen change, or corrected date of birth. You must provide documents to prove your identity, support the requested change, and establish this change for the reason. For example, you may provide a birth certificate to show your correct date of birth. A document supporting a name change must be recent and identify you by both your old and new names. If the name change event occurred over 2 years ago, if the name change document does not have enough information to prove your identity, you must also provide documents to prove your identity in your prior name and or in some cases your new legal name. If you were born outside the U.S., you must provide a document to prove your U.S. citizenship or current lawful work authorized status. Public Law 108, limits on replacement Social Security cards. Limits the number of replacement Social Security cards you may receive to 3 per calendar year and 10 in a lifetime. Cards issued to reflect changes. Yeah, that's right. 3 per year and 10 in a lifetime. Cards issued. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was not an attempt to flash your eye away from something. Okay, like you can read it again. Public law, cards issued. Okay, to 3 per year, 10 in a lifetime. Cards issued to reflect changes to the legal name or changes to a work authorization legend do not count toward these limits. We may also grant exceptions to these limits if you provide evidence from an official source to establish that a Social Security card is required. Evidence documents. The following list are examples of the types of documents you must provide with your application and are not all inclusive. You can call them because they have a customer service line if you cannot provide these documents. Important, if you are completing this application on behalf of someone else, you must provide evidence that shows your authority to sign the application as well as documents to prove your identity and the identity of the persons for whom you are filing the application. We can only accept original documents or documents certified by the custodian of the original record. Notarized copies or photocopies which have not been certified by the custodian of the record are not acceptable. Notarized copies or photocopies which have not been certified by the custodian of the record are not acceptable. So it has to be certified by the custodian of the record. So it needs to be authenticated before you can even apply. Look at that. Evidence of age, evidence of identity. You must provide current unexpired evidence of identity in your legal name. Your legal name will be shown on the Social Security card. Generally, we prefer to see documents issued in the U.S. documents. you submit to establish your identity, show your legal name, and provide biographical information, all right, and or physical information, height, eye color, hair color, etc. If you send a photo identity document but do not appear in person, the document must show your biographical information, your date of birth, age, or parents' names. Generally, documents without an expiration date should have been issued within the past 2 years for adults and within the past 4 years for children. As proof of identity, you must provide a U.S. driver's license, state-issued non-driver identity card, or U.S. passport. If you do not have one of the documents above but cannot get a replacement within 10 workdays, we may accept other documents that show your legal name and biographical information. Excuse me, I'm going to have to start bringing this little video to a close. Evidence of U.S. citizenship is there. In general, you must provide your U.S. birth certificate or passport, or a consular report of birth, certificate of citizenship. So even if you don't want to be a U.S. citizen, you want to go to another nation, get your consular record of you repatriating to that nation, even if that's within the Bureau of Indian Affairs, under one of the federally recognized Native American tribes. If you want to repatriate to one of those, you can even do so with them and use your declaration and proclamation with them to show a change in citizenship or immigration status. You must provide a current unexpired document issued to you by the Department of Homeland Security, meaning after you repatriate, you gotta do some talking to the Department of Homeland Security, all right? Which means you're gonna need to talk to them. They're gonna refer you to the U.S. Citizens and Immigration Services, USCIS, all right? And we're not going over that form today, but yeah, you'll need to do that. How to complete this application? Read, all right? Let me just show you something. Providing 6 and 7. Providing race and ethnicity information is voluntary and is requested for informational and statistical purposes only. Remember you saw that, or you heard that statistical word before? There it is again, all right? Statistical purposes. Your choice whether to answer or not does not affect decisions we make on your application. If you do provide this information, we will treat it very carefully. Because it's you providing testimony as to what and who you are. If you're applying for an original Social Security card for a child under 18, you must show the parent's Social Security numbers unless the parent was never assigned a Social Security number. If the number is not known and you cannot obtain it, check the unknown box. So if you're a child under the age of 18, you must show the parent's Social Security numbers. If you had your name changed, you're not required to show your parent's name. Essentially, like when you change your name for spiritual purposes, you're being adopted by a universal creator, by God, by Allah, by Yahweh, by whomever, by Buddha, whatever, okay? We're not just debating, your spiritual preference. That's on you. That's between you and your creator, all right? But if your spiritual practice is of origin in a foreign location, meaning outside the United States of America, then you may just want to repatriate to that nation. You know what I'm saying? And just do what you got to do properly. Like if you did some genetic testing and you found out that you're Native American and you're Cherokee or Cree or Choctaw or Blackfoot or anything else, any of the federally recognized Native American tribes, by all means, go repatriate and correct all your information. You know what I'm saying? Because that's for tax purposes. Okay? Yeah. W-2, correct that information. Some of you are Native Americans and don't even know it, and you're getting overtaxed. Okay? Protect your Social Security number and card at all times. Privacy Act Statement, Collection and Use of Personal Information, Sections 205C and 702 of Social Security Act, as amended, authorize us to collect this information. The information you provide will be used to assign you a Social Security number and issue a Social Security card. The information you furnish on this form is voluntary. However, failure to provide the requested information may prevent us from issuing you a Social Security number and card. We rarely use the information you supply for any purpose other than for issuing a Social Security number and card. However, we may use it for the administration and integrity of Social Security programs. Statistics. We may also disclose information to another person or to another agency in accordance with approved routine uses, which include but are not limited to the following: to enable a third party or agency to assist Social Security in establishing rights to Social Security benefits and or coverage, to comply with federal laws requiring the release of information from Social Security records, to make determinations for eligibility in health and income maintenance programs at the federal, state, and local level, and to facilitate statistical research, audit, or investigative activities necessary to assure the integrity of Social Security programs. So you got the DS Form 11, the Treasury Department for your employer, your race and ethnicity for international and federal identification purposes, which is voluntary, which is also secured within the United States Constitution, Bill of Rights, the organic Bill of Rights, 1 through 10, the preamble, all men are created equal. All men are created equal. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Box number 6 and 7. Number 8. Not yes, please. Just state what you are. Male or female. Can't be both. One or the other. If you're under the age of 18, box number 9, A and B are for you. Box number 10, A and B are for you if you're under the age of 18. Number 11. Has a person listed in item 1 or anyone ever filed for or received a Social Security number card before? If you're an American citizen, yeah. If you change your name, like you don't know, check don't know. Skip down to question 14. But if you have, check box yes, and show the name on the most recent Social Security card issued for the person. Enter the date of birth if used on an earlier application for a card. And let me just go ahead and just show, let me just say one more thing. Okay? Box number 17 and number 18. Let me just read box number 17 and number 18 real quick. Just for this informational purpose. Who can sign the application if you are 18 or older and or physically and mentally capable of reading and completing the application? You must sign item 17. If you are under age 18, a parent or legal guardian may sign for you. If you are over 18 and cannot sign on your own behalf, a legal guardian, parent, or close relative may generally sign for you. So like, let's say like hypothetically, like, a person lost their identification form and they were outside of the United States corporation or country in like Mexico or Canada, and an individual needed to file a Social Security card for them so that way they could speed up the expedition process. Yeah. Box number 17, you put an X in the incapacitated or incarcerated individual's name, and then have 2 people sign as witnesses in the space besides the mark. Please do not alter your signature by including additional information on your signature line, as this may invalidate your application. But you can and you may reserve your rights on any signature, as any document requiring a signature is none other than a contract. All right? And it's a contract between yourself, bearing your signature, which gives this document credit, and the agency, and the individual signature and title of the employee or employees reviewing evidence and or conducting interview. All right? Now, for those of you who or looking for the forms, DuckDuckGo, Google search, Bing search, Yahoo search, all of those different search engines. Feel free to, put in your state of residence and then petition for adult name change. And some things similar to this will pop up. Okay, Florida adult name change, New York adult name change, California adult name change, Georgia name change, Texas name change, all that. All right, all that and more. So, all that being said, you got any other questions? Feel free to hit me up at morristempleolight@gmail.com. There's the email, morristempleolight@gmail.com. All right, this information is under the standard licensing of whatever platform or medium it is that I so choose to display it on. You do need express consent, written or verbal, to reuse this information. And this is an invalidation towards the fair use of my information for other people's purposes, negatively, or in an attempt to defame my character, when all I'm doing is just out here showing people where they can go out and get the information themselves. So, trust your own judgment. This is not legal information, legal advice, excuse me. It is legal information provided to you for the free. If you feel like you want to provide a donation because you like the presentation or you enjoyed the information or found any portion of this information useful, feel free to send a donation through PayPal to MTOL Trust Corp. That's the Morris Temple of Light Trust Corp. All right. There you go. You can see it right there. But just put MTOL Trust Corp. All right. MTOL Trust Corp. MTOL, as in Morris Temple of Light Trust Corp. And you should be able to find us on PayPal. Okay. But please don't send us a PayPal donation via this email. We don't receive any donations through this email. Okay, so your donations are very much appreciated. But you know what's even more appreciated? Your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and your shares. So please, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of the Most High of all ages, hit that button, hit that bell. We out of this joint. Okay, I might need to edit that part out.